Welcome to episode 43 of the Twig Snapper Podcast. Today I'm joined by Tyler Piacentini. How you doing today, Tyler?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on the show. Let's um let's start with just talking a little bit about your time in college. You played D3 hockey at Norwich University, and you were a captain your senior year. So I guess maybe if you could just start by kind of summing up your college experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I played juniors before I went to Norwich. Obviously, when you play juniors, I think every player's goal is to go Division One. You want to play at the highest level, but there comes a point where you see yourself and you want to find yourself at the best fit academically and athletically. So I was very lucky that Norwich reached out and I went there and it was awesome. I had a great 4 years there. Met some incredible people. Our team all 4 years we were pretty good. We're very close. I mean, still to this day, I talk to guys are in my class. I talk to them at least once a week, so it's pretty good. Norwich is a half military, half civilian. Um, it's in Vermont, central Vermont. So I was civilian, but it was pretty cool to interact with the kids that are in the military side, just to kind of see what they had to go through and stuff like that. So it was good. It was being up there. You focused a lot on school and hockey, so it was kind of perfect for someone that wants to pursue the NCAA college hockey route. So it was great. And then my senior year, we ended up winning the national championship, which kind of topped it off. So, I loved my time there. I met some incredible people through hockey and in class or around campus. So it was fun. It was a great 4 years.
So you said like playing juniors, right? Everyone's goal is to make it D1. When you were playing juniors, did you know that if you went D3, you'd have an opportunity to go pro? Like did you know that that's an option? And,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of guys don't really understand that you can still go
Yeah.
pro D3. Did you know that?
Um, to be honest, I didn't really. My mind wasn't really set on that. I've always kind of, just I've tried to take it like whatever level I'm at to see what's
Hmm.
next and what I could pursue. But my goal is just kind of just to play college hockey. I mean, it's you see nowadays like there's so many hockey players out there that are trying to chase the dream, and let's be real, like everyone wants to play in the NHL, but there's you know there's a slight chance that you will. You know what I mean? So then you kind of just have to see like, all right, well, what's the best fit for me? So I obviously I wanted to go Division One, but kind of when Norwich reached out, I kind of stepped back and I looked at my options. And I thought it was the best fit for myself. And then when I went to Norwich, I kind of was just focusing on the present. Um, and then like my last year, my senior year, I wanted to stay in hockey. I didn't know if I wanted to continue playing or if I wanted to coach or something like that. So I kind of halfway through the year, I just started looking at my options and stuff. But I never really that never really got to my mind. Oh,
Hmm.
I'm going Division Three. I won't be able to play pro because to be honest, I didn't really know much about minor pro. To be
Right.
honest with you, so it was kind of I always just try to focus on the present and what's next. I didn't really want to jump too far ahead of myself, so
Yeah.
that never really crossed my mind. But I think as you see, yeah, like a lot of guys, but play Division One, go pro. But there's also in the minor pro, there's a lot of guys that are good in pro hockey that play Division Three. So
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's something that people on the outside don't necessarily understand. People they kind of have like a down look on D3 hockey. It's just D3.
yeah,
Because some other D3 athletics, don't have the reputation. But hockey, I think it's different. And I've noticed that more just doing this podcast, talking to guys, and
yeah,
where they came from, and especially over in Europe too. There's a lot of guys that play D3 hockey. Um, so at the national championship, I mean, how much? I mean, obviously it's D3, so how much like media presence was there? How much fan, attention? Was it a
yeah,
big deal?
yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, at Norwich going there, like they've always competed usually every year, then the top 10 ranked Division 3. So it's you kind of go there knowing that you're probably going to have a team that's going to compete, you know. So like your goal is to win a national championship, and we kind of had that set, you know, right when I went in there. Like if we didn't win the national championship, it really wasn't, you know, like it really wasn't a good year for us, you know. Like so, I think that was the main goal. Obviously, yeah, Division 3, it's not, I guess, publicized or not as much attention, I guess, as Division 1. But at Norwich, we had an incredible fan base that they traveled everywhere with us, whether we were in Boston playing or we were in New York. Like there's Norwich alumni everywhere, so we had an incredible fan base that when we played, like we had a lot of support that was going to our playoff games and the championship game. I mean, there was a lot of Norwich people there. I'd say the media stuff though, like it, there was more media there in the NCAA, you know, playoffs than the regular season, obviously. But no, I mean, it doesn't get the attention that the national championship football game's gonna get, you know. But I mean,
Right.
to us, it was incredible. It was an incredible like experience, and it's something that, you know, obviously we won, so it makes it that much better. But something that I think every player that goes through will remember forever.
Yeah. Do you guys get rings or something that
Yeah,
you keep?
yeah. So we ended up getting rings, I think, a few months after. So yeah, the rings are pretty sweet. So
Yeah.
I have that in my drawer. So it's kind of, if you take a look at it, it brings back some good memories. So
Yeah. You
yeah.
don't just wear it when you're like out at the bar, you know, as conversation starter.
Yeah, no. I'm sure some guys probably do though.
Right, yeah, they go to grab
Yeah.
their mug of beer and they got the big ring
Yeah,
on
it's
the finger
clanging.
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I actually have. I don't think I've worn it since, like, actually like worn it out since I got it. But I'm sure, you know, I'm sure they'll have some reunion, maybe like 10-year reunion or something, that some guys
Yeah.
might pull it out. But yeah, I mean, it's
Right.
something you look at and it just kind of brings back some good memories. So something that I hope to keep forever. So
Right, exactly. Yeah, I had
yeah,
a buddy who he won a state championship for football, and their teams got rings. And I mean, for just high school football, they were pretty sweet. So I can
yeah,
imagine college, rings are pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah. They did a great job, like the design and stuff like that. So it's definitely, yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
special.
All right. So switching gears here a little bit, coming out of college, in your first year out of college, you played 4 ECHL games. Did you play in the SP first or the ECHL first?
Yeah, I was here in Huntsville in the SB first, and then I went to Norfolk in the East Coast League. Um, yeah, I wasn't there very long, but it was a good experience. You know, I can't say a bad thing about it. It was a good experience just to kind of see like what level those guys are at and how they do things. So being a young guy, it was something I'm happy that I did. You know, just to
Right.
see what, you know, some of those guys are good players and to see how they go about their things. Um, but at the same time, I mean, here in Huntsville in the SP, I'm very happy. So I can't say a bad thing, you know.
Right. Yeah. It's just kind of, you get a little bit different taste. I mean, it's just one step closer to the show. And you see once in a while guys go from the coast up to the show. I think, um, was it Kalamazoo's goalie, the Wings, or I can't remember what team it was because I don't have all of the organizations memorized, but he went from there and then he signed an NHL contract with Columbus. I think that was
Yeah,
last year. So, once in a while, the guys you're playing with in the coast or end up in the show. But I mean, it's the same thing with the SB because you got a lot of guys going back and forth from the SB to the coast. They get loaned for weekend
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely. I mean, I guess any pro level, it's, you know, you got guys going up and down. You know, it's the same kind of here with the East Coast League. You know, guys want to go up there and they get the call, so they go up. So it's
Yeah.
you kind of wish them the best, and you kind of joke around and say, well, hopefully I don't see you again because you want them to stick up there, but.
Right. But it's,
But
obviously
at
it's
the same
tough.
time, they're all valuable to your team, so.
Exactly. So you don't want to lose them for too long.
Yeah. So.
You've been with Huntsville for 6 years. A lot of guys in minor pro hockey get bounced around, a lot. You see guys back, they don't even unpack their suitcase because they're just on the road so much. How have you been, so lucky to just stay in the same place for all 6 years?
Yeah. I mean, it's true what you said. I'm very lucky and thankful that I've been here for 6 years. It's incredible. I love the city here. The organization's unbelievable from the top down. It's done with the owners. So, and then the fans are unbelievable. So I think just kind of, it starts with the head coach, Glenn DeTulio. He's done a great job. Over the summer, he tries to find the right guys that are good character guys for the locker room. And we've kind of had a core here the last couple of years that have been here for a couple of years. So it's definitely been special. And I think to us, we don't take that for granted, knowing that that doesn't happen often in minor pro. So I think, we're all very thankful and blessed that we're here and that we've been here for multiple years, because we know that it's at any day, anything could change. So we just try to put our head down and build a culture here that is going to work and try to be as successful as we can.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough business. So a lot of the guys I've had on the podcast have got bounced around. I mean, they're getting cut at 2 a.m, or, you think you have an awesome camp and then you get called into the coach's office, or, it's a grind at the minor pro level for sure. So being able to stay in the same place definitely makes it easier. And then, like you said, you got guys that have been there for a few years. So if you get a core group, good things are going to happen, which they have for you guys, because you guys won 2 SPHL championships in your time in Huntsville. So I guess let's talk about that, a little bit, the playoffs and then winning those championships.
Yeah. I was so my rookie year here, we won. We kind of had an older team. The leadership group was unbelievable. We had a lot of guys with a lot of experience. So it was easy. It was very easy being a rookie. They took us right in and kind of showed us the way. There's a culture here in Huntsville that guys before myself have built, and it's something that we try to continue to lead on. So it was pretty easy. We knew we were coming into a team that, being a rookie, you're coming into a team that, we have high expectations here, and we're going to try to do things the right way and to the best of our ability. So I think winning my rookie year it was awesome, especially coming out of college, and I won in college. But at the same time, you're kind of a young rookie. You kind of just win, right? Like there's so much to it, but you win. And then the next year, we won again. It was my second year, same thing. I mean, we had some older guys that led the way for us, and you kind of just try to continue that with the rookies coming in to show them what it takes to, be a good pro, or the way that we do it here in Huntsville. So it was definitely, those 2 years was very special. I mean, just the memories, and we still talk a good amount, both teams. In March here in Huntsville, they're having like a championship weekend, so both teams are going to come down. So it'll be great to see some guys that I haven't seen since then. So yeah, it was definitely good. It was, now looking back, my 6th year playing, I mean, winning those 2 years was unbelievable. But you kind of realize now, it's been a few years since we've won, that, how hard it is to win, no matter what level you're at, no matter what sport you're in or how many teams there are. Like, it's so hard to win at any level. So it's something that, kind of looking back, it makes you hungrier. You want to get another one,
Right.
just knowing what comes along with it too. Winning, and then you just have everything that comes with it after. It's incredible, and it's something that, every guy on the team will remember for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and especially when like you said, you won in college, then your rookie year you win, and then you win again. I mean, you had a stretch there where you were
Yeah.
just on top of the world in all your leagues.
Yeah, I know it's been a few years, so hopefully this year here in Huntsville we can do something.
Yeah, bring it back for the fans. This year you've got 24 points in 25 games, almost a point per game. Do you keep note of that stuff? Like, oh, I want to be a point per game guy, or I want to keep my stats up, or you not really focus on that, during the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone would be lying if they said they didn't really look at the points that they have as a player. But to be honest with me, it kind of an older guy on our team, like I really would rather just have a successful season from a team standpoint. Obviously, chipping in, and everyone wants to score and get points, but it's something that I think the core here, we know that we need to produce to help the team. So I think from an individual standpoint, if you're not producing, you sometimes you feel like you might be letting the team down. But I think it's something that if you truly believe, play the right way, you work hard, like things are going to happen for you. So hey, if the team's playing well and having a good season, then usually guys are going to be producing and playing well individually themselves.
Right, exactly. It kind of all comes together, all the pieces of the puzzle will come together. With teams having success, guys are going to have success, and back and forth it goes. Here's I realized this the other day. I was looking at elite prospects, and for each league, they have these interesting facts they put on there. They put the
Yeah.
top 5 oldest, youngest players, heaviest players, lightest players, tallest, and shortest. And I never noticed that before. And on the SP, you're the shortest player in the SP at 5'5". The next guy is 5'7". Did you know that
Who's
you're the
you know what? I actually didn't know that they have that on Elite Prospects, but I figured I was the smallest guy. I'm usually the smallest guy, no matter where I go or what league I'm in. Yeah, I think the 5'5" might be giving me an inch or two too, so I'll take it. But yeah, who's second?
Here, hold on. I'll pull it up.
Oh yeah,
Let's see who second is. Let's see here. I just thought it was kind of an they're random facts. Tallest, shortest, heaviest, different.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see here. No, I don't want the league information and facts. It's got to be under there. And then I think the tallest guy in the SP is like 6'7", maybe.
Yeah, it's probably the kid on Pensacola.
All right, here. It's buried way down at the bottom. Maybe that's why nobody ever saw it.
I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
Jacob Barber, 5'7".
Barb. Yeah, he's here in Huntsville. I don't know.
And then
I guess he's the smallest.
Jagger Williamson, also 5'7".
Yeah, I don't know. Barb's is here in Huntsville, so I don't think he's the second shortest guy in the league, but I know I'm definitely.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate that is either. What they've got on there, where they get their stats, or that. So
it's kind of. I never knew they had that on Elite Prospects, but it definitely doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I've always been the smallest person, so.
Right, so you've got to play more of a quick skill-based game. You're not going to be, playing that physical game as much, slamming guys into the boards, especially if they're 6'7" and you're 5'5". That's got to be a little
it's
tougher.
Definitely, I mean, my whole life I've been small, obviously, so I've kind of been able to adjust and to see what works for me individually and what works for a small person. So
Yeah.
I think at my age and how long I've been playing, I think I have a pretty good grasp on, like being my size, what's my strengths, like try to use
Right.
my shortness to my advantage, against
Yeah.
a tall guy. So it definitely has its positives and negatives, just like if you're 6'5", you definitely have your positives and negatives. So just
Right. Right. I
sometimes
mean,
being small, you just got to keep your head up a little bit. So
yeah, I mean, if you're 6'5", you probably don't have the wheels that a smaller guy could have, or the agility maybe. So I mean, there's pros and cons to both of it, obviously.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just thought that was a random, weird
Yeah, I never
fact.
knew that. It's actually, I mean, I guess if someone asked me and they said who's the smallest guy in the league, I'd probably say myself. But yeah,
Yeah.
I never knew that was on Elite Prospects. Pretty cool that it's on there, I guess.
Right. And for other leagues, I don't think there's a whole lot of guys that are like your height. Most of the guys, I think the shortest you'll be a 5'7", 5'8". So
Yeah,
you've got the win probably in most leagues.
yeah. At the end of the day, I'm definitely pretty short. But yeah, I hear it all the time, right? On the ice, guys are always chirping, saying how short I am. I'm like, I know, I know I'm small.
Right. Yes.
I've been dealing with it my whole life. So,
So it's
but
not even really an insult anymore if some guy from another team chirps you about being short. Just
it's just an easy insult that they have, right? So,
yeah. What's the worst thing any guy said to you on the ice about being short? Like, is there any that like, or any
yeah,
you hear a lot? Do you hear the same thing over and over,
yeah. I
like the
mean,
same chirp?
yeah, it's kind of just like you midget, or go back to like the chocolate factory or Willy Wonka, something like that. I mean, I try not to let it get to me, right? But
Right.
sometimes I guess it does. But it's kind of
Yeah.
the way that I try to play, and I think helps me being small, is sometimes I get it. I'm kind of an emotional player, but trying to get in there and kind of try to get under the other team's skin.
Yeah.
But sometimes I got to watch myself. I don't cross that line. Sometimes you cross the
Right.
line, but if you're staying right on the line there, I think that's when I'm at my best. So I mean, I've heard it all, to be honest, and
Yeah.
you got the guys that the same thing every time you play them, they're chirping you about your size, but it's not like next week I'm gonna grow and be 6'3". Like
Yeah. Exactly.
I gotta live with it. So if I'm gonna whatever get under their skin, I know that they're probably gonna be coming after me saying that or whatever. But yeah, I've heard it all, so it doesn't really bother me because at the end of the day, it's true. I'm short, right? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not. So it's not too bad. It's sometimes it's fun, get in the mix and battling against some guys that you've battled against for all year, a couple seasons.
Right. Exactly. Um, You've also, this is off topic, switching gears here. You've been a captain at three levels. You were a captain in high school, you were a captain in college, and now you're a captain in the SP. That's got to feel good. You've been a leader, you've got the experience, and that you're that kind of guy that coaches want, to lead the team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely something that I've always like really appreciated throughout my career. Like kind of in high school and in college, it was more of like the players voted kind of. So
Yeah.
just to know that the players, like thought that in you, and then here in Huntsville, I mean, when they announced me captain, it was it's a huge honor. I mean, all the teams I've been on, in high school or at Norwich, the history at Norwich, like to be a captain there, it's something that I didn't take lightly. I tried to work every day to lead by example, and then to come here in Huntsville with the history they have here, the players, the captains they've had before. So it's something that it's a huge honor. I mean, no matter what level you're at or what team you're on, it's a huge honor. But especially just to have, I guess, the coaches and the players, respect you, and to know that they trust you in those situations, no matter what it is, whether it's on ice or off ice. It's something that, I've always tried to work on to be better too, and I think there's some areas where you can always learn to kind of teach yourself to be better in those spots. So it's something that, I'm very honored, especially here in Huntsville the last couple of years. It's something that, every day it's awesome, but I also have to say, at the levels I've been at and here this year and the years past in Huntsville, we've had a great leadership group where, whether the guys have A's on their jerseys or not, like the experience, the older guys and some of the younger guys just stepping up to help myself and the other captains, just kind of build the team that is going to build a culture that we have, so it's definitely, it's nice having the C on your jersey, and it's something that, I'm very honored to do and take a lot of pride in it. But also it's the guys that are in the room that, whether, they might have A's on their jerseys or some of them don't, that are huge leaders. And it's been easy, it's been easier in Huntsville to have the leaders that we do, and the leadership, the leadership group that we have here has made it very easy on each other and on myself to lead every day.
Right. And, as a captain, when you're surrounded by other guys, like you said, whether they've got an A on their jersey or not, other guys that have experience that'll step up and help, it makes your job easier, and it'll just make the team better, as a whole.
Yeah.
Minor pro hockey, obviously, it's a little bit different than, higher levels. It's a little, like we talked about, it's a grind. And sometimes, you see some crazy things, maybe more in the FP than the SP. But, have there been any crazy games you've played in for any reason? It's just like it sticks out in your memory of being, something wild happened.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I don't know if I guess say I've been lucky or whatever, but since I've been here in Huntsville, there hasn't really been much. I've obviously seen videos and stuff on YouTube and hockey fights and stuff. But yeah, there really hasn't been too much. I think it was a year before I got here, or 2 years. I think it was a year before that. I know there was like a bench brawl and guys were whatever, like after the game or going down the hallway, guys are fighting or something. But I haven't. Our team, since I've been here, I haven't seen anything like that. I think it's trying to. Hockey's trying to kind of, not trying to, but it's kind of getting away from it because there's so many good players out there, and especially here, it's you got 10 forwards that are dressed usually, so it's kind of, I think it's kind of more focused on skill, and it's kind of the way that hockey's going. But I mean, I think a few years ago we had that COVID season, so half the league was playing, so we were just kind of playing teams over and over again. So I think we're playing Knoxville. I think they had some guys there in COVID protocol, and we did as well. And they were just trying to play the game like that Friday night or whatever it was. So we ended up playing like 4-on-4 for 60 minutes. And some of the guys came right out of COVID protocol. Like I think they might have skated in a morning skate or something, but they did They didn't skate much, but yeah, we played 4-on-4. I mean, I mean, now looking back, it was pretty crazy to play 4-on-4 for 60 minutes.
Yeah,
but
right. You wouldn't see that in the NHL.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, that year, like we had to do whatever. I mean, we were just lucky to be playing hockey with everything that was going on in the world. So
yeah.
At that point, we didn't really care. We just wanted to play. But looking back, you're like, wow, it's pretty crazy to think that we played 4-on-4. But I mean, yeah, it's you always hear like some of the bus stories, like buses breaking down and stuff like that. But I mean, knock on wood, I'll knock loud. It's been there hasn't been too much that has gone too bad, So
Yeah.
it's been a pretty good experience here in Huntsville, and I hope it continues like that for the rest
Right.
of the
Hope you
year.
didn't just jinx
Yeah,
yourself here on.
I knocked on the wood, so I knocked on my table, so it's made out of
Yeah.
wood. So, but yeah,
Right.
I mean, I've seen videos in the past with like, those brawls and crazy games and the penalty minutes, but for the most part,
And
it's been good. It's kind of, I think, the league the last couple of years, like you've seen. I mean, even at the highest levels, you've seen a lot of the young guys are just so skilled and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to see. But then again, I mean, it's like it's if something does happen, if someone gets hit or something, like guys will stick up for each other. So it's not like the game's gone completely soft. Like there's a time and place to do it, and guys are gonna stick up for each other if they feel like they have to. So
right. And I mean, like you said, and everyone who follows hockey knows that it's been changing to more of a skill game, and the fighting will never fully go away. You're always going to have your big enforcers, but as it changes at the national league level, it's going to trickle down to the minor pro leagues, and maybe it'll take a little bit longer to change in some of the lower leagues. But like you'll see that, like you said, just more of a skill based game, because everyone wants to, be like the guys in the NHL. Everyone wants to give that a shot, try and lacrosse goals or whatever else they can do.
hey, to be honest, I don't know. I mean, we have some young guys here that they can do that stuff. I'm like, I don't know if I'm just getting older, but I'm like, I don't know how they can put the puck up on. I mean, it's cool that it's pretty cool they can do that. I'm not against that if they're gonna score goals like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but yeah,
you
some
can't.
of them. No, I can't do it. I'm not gonna say that I can. I can't. Yeah, I mean, it's some of the stuff. I mean, especially you see at the higher levels, like in the NHL and stuff, seeing like some of those guys, the stuff that they can do with the puck and the way that they can skate, like it's incredible. So
Yeah,
it's
some
pretty
of the
cool to
stuff.
see. But it's pretty cool to see. I mean, if they're gonna score goals on it, but sometimes
Right.
it's everyone has their opinion on stuff like that if they want to try the lacrosse goal or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, if they're gonna score, then great. But it's cool to be able to do stuff in practice. But if you can't translate it to the game, then
Right. Especially this past World Juniors that just happened. There were a lot of different things from Team Canada, or I even saw some from like Team Switzerland, guys pulling these crazy moves. But like you said, yeah, you can do it in practice. If you pull it out in game and you screw up, you look like an idiot. You try to do a lacrosse goal and it fails. I'm sure your coach is going to be hollering at you afterwards because maybe you blew an opportunity because you were trying to show off. Or so if you do it, you gotta follow through it.
yeah, it definitely looks a lot. It looks a lot better if you score. I mean, I think it's pretty cool to see that these guys can do that. I mean, it just goes to show how much skill that those guys have. So like, it's not, I know a lot of people have their opinions on it, and I'm kind of indifferent. Where I think it's cool if they can do it, and it's cool to see them score on it. But at the same time, like if there's some players that can't do it, so they're gonna kind of keep it simple. So it's whatever whatever you can do. A lot of these young guys have a lot of skill, so pretty cool to see.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever works for your game is what you got to, do to succeed. Um, I figured we'd wrap it up here. I like asking guys this, who is your favorite player growing up? Who'd you look up to, as a kid?
Yeah, I think for myself, like obviously I'm short, so I think like a Marty St. Louis, uh, especially like just watching him play. He was a small guy, and I I saw how hard he had to work to get to where he got. I mean, it wasn't easy for him, and he had to put a lot of time, in the gym and on the ice to make sure that he was ready to compete. And to see the career that he had, it's incredible. And then kind of more, I guess recent, up to a few years ago, like I tried to watch like Zach Parise when he was in New Jersey, and then first couple of years in Minnesota, just kind of seeing the way that he's a small guy, but the way that he hunted pucks and the way that, I think the bottom line thing is just for a small guy, just the way that those guys compete, like it sets a good, you're a good role model to younger players. If you're a small guy and you're competing and you're doing well at that level, it makes someone like myself, who's a younger guy, who's small, years ago, like to see like Amadi St. Louis, he was doing well. It's like, well, look at him, he can do well. So I think it's kind of just setting the standard for the younger generations where, if there's a small person, you kind of try to look up to someone that's more like you in stature, you know what I mean? So those are two guys that on top of my head that I've always kind of watched a little more than others.
You weren't going to model your game after Chara.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love the Bruins, but yeah, I wasn't going to do that. But I mean, there's so many good players out there though that you can watch.
Yeah.
But those are definitely two guys that I tried to watch just to see, like they're at the highest level you can get to, and like to see how they did it and the stuff that they had to do. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So are you a big Bruins fan being from Massachusetts?
Yeah. I like the Bruins. I mean, growing up, I was always a big Bruins fan. So, I was lucky my senior year in high school, they won the Stanley Cup. So it was definitely pretty cool. And then a couple of years ago, they made it to Game 7. They had a hell of a run and just came up short. But yeah, I mean, they're having a good year this year. So
right, yeah. I mean, I think they surprised a few people. I mean, nobody thought they were going to be horrible, but I don't think people thought they'd be this good. I mean, they're top of the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, they've just, I think with them, it's like they got some guys that came in. They got Krejci back. They got a new head coach that, I think it just kind of things are going good for them right now. So hopefully they can keep it going. At least try to, at least be consistent, especially come playoff time. Hopefully they're playing the way that they are right now. So
right. So being a Bruins guy, do you like Marchand?
Yeah, I love him. I mean, he's a player that I look up, that I watch a lot. I like the way that he plays. Like, sometimes he can, get under the other team's skin a little bit, but he's definitely calmed down the last couple of years. But it's unbelievable how good he is as a hockey player. Like, he's so skilled and he's quick and he's fast, and just to watch him, the stuff that he can do with the puck, he has a great shot. So, I mean, he's someone that I always watch, and it's, being a Bruins fan, you see, some of the guys that they have that you're like, Bruins fans are very lucky to be able to watch those guys, every night that they play,
Yeah, I feel like a couple years ago, you ask most people around the league and they're not big Marchand fans. Bruins fans obviously love him, but other people maybe not so much. But like you said, he's calmed down, and now I feel like he's being recognized more for his skill and less for, the way he played. Some people thought he played a little bit dirtier, but now he's being noticed just for how good he is. Yeah. Which is a good way to go out, like getting closer to retirement. The older you're getting, be remembered for how good you were, not for something else.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I know some people probably have the different opinions, but he's someone that I love, like just the way that he plays, and obviously being a Bruins fan, like how good he is, and what he brings to the Bruins lineup every night. It's Bruins fans are lucky to have him and to watch him. So we definitely, I'd say the Bruins fans definitely love that he's on the Bruins. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that with guys. Obviously, there's not unless you're a Capitals fan, most people don't like Tom Wilson. Guys like that, they just have a reputation for not being fan favorites around the league. But some of them, I don't know, like I like Ryan Reeves. I know a lot of people don't, but I like watching him play. And I just that kind of enforcer, one of the last enforcers, and Delorier and some of those guys.
Yeah.
And I never personally had anything against Brad Marchand, and I'm a Ducks fan, so I guess there's no like, rivalry with the Bruins. I get it if your team's got a rivalry maybe, but yeah, I mean, you never hate the players that are on your team for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like what you said with like, some of those players, like, like obviously if they're on your team, the people that say that they don't like them, it's like, well, if they're on your team, they would like them, So like, I think kind of playing, like at the age I'm at, playing and watching, like those some of those guys that people might have their opinions on usually mean the most to the team that they're on and the fan base that they play for, So it's like,
yeah,
they usually respected like the most too. Like, it's like at the end of the day, like there's a reason why they're playing at that level on that team. And
right.
sometimes that's why, like, hey, like a guy like Tom Wilson is, he's, I love the way that he plays, and he's, but what he means to the Capitals and their team, like he brings so much to the table that, opposing fan bases might have their opinions on him, but it's probably because that, he can either score or he's going to fight, right? So, like,
yeah,
he brings
right.
a lot to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I think it means more if you're respected by your fan base and your teammates than what the rest of the league thinks. I mean, if the rest of the league doesn't like you, so what? But if your fans love you, that's what counts.
Exactly. Yeah. You kind of know that you're doing something good, if other fan bases are paying attention to you and booing you or whatever, that means you're probably doing something good for your team,
Right. Whether you're booed for, being a dirtier player fighting or whatever, or you're booed just because you're so skilled that people don't like you. Either way, you're doing something to get under people's skin and
exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Thanks for coming on this episode of the pod. It was a good time. Glad you could join me.
Yeah, thank you very much. I had a blast, and good luck moving forward.
Thank you.
Yeah.